Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Find Me in a Book podcast, where we talk about all different kinds of romance books.
And I react to them.
Welcome back. We're so excited to be here. And the book that we're talking about today is called Choosing Theo, which is the Clecanian series, book 1. I don't really know that
What
word.
was that word?
It's like Clecanian.
Hold on, show me. Where is it?
Clecanian. I don't know what I said in my head as I was like reading it throughout like the book, but I said Clecanian, which
Clecanian? That's a kind of a spicy word there.
Is it?
I mean,
does it mean something? Oh, it's provocative. It gets them going. Yeah, that's what I'm guessing that it's pronounced as. If not, it's fine. You get what we're saying. That's the race of the book. And we're not really going to talk about the second book, but I did read the second book.
The race of the book?
The race of the people. Like this is an alien book.
Oh! That makes way more sense now. Yeah, that's probably not a real word. And you say, like, that's the race of people, the Clecanians.
Yes.
Oh, that just feels dirty saying out loud. Is this as bad as, like, the Ice Planet
Barbarians?
No,
which, let me talk about this, because I really, really liked these books. But we're going to get into them and how they kind of relate to the Ice Planet Barbarians and, like, how they're different and everything.
Okay.
So we're going to talk about it.
If you're unfamiliar with the Ice Planet Barbarians, you should listen to that episode. Because
you should.
It was a little scarring for me.
It really was.
And I like sci-fi books.
You do, but it was a lot.
Too much.
So yeah, definitely go listen to that episode. But this book, this is by Victoria Aveline, and I'd never heard of her before. I don't know if I've ever seen these books. I found this book just on like my TikTok For You page, basically, or not TikTok, sorry, my Kindle, where I look through like the different categories on my Kindle that says like, hey, you might like this. It's similar to this, and it just sounded really interesting. So I was like, okay, I'll read that, and I loved it. I read the first 2 books, but I think there's like 9. There's a lot of books of these, and so
it's a bingeable book.
It is, yeah. And I didn't go any further because I liked the 2, and I felt like I was pretty good with that. And so I didn't keep going. I might go and like read a couple of the other ones, but yeah, I just stopped at the 2. And this actually was like a 3 out of 5 spice. Like when there were the spicy scenes, it wasn't so descriptive like the Ice Planet Barbarian. There was no spurred.
Wasn't a lot of veiny and throbbing and pulsating.
No. Like it was spicy and like it was descriptive, but it wasn't like over the top like spur penis. Like it just
spur penis.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure those aliens had one, right?
Oh, you're right.
They were like ribbed.
You know what? Until
but not these ones. These
ribbed
ones are
for her pleasure.
These ones are very almost like human-like, and so it seemed more realistic.
Oh, thank goodness!
Yeah,
because that's what we want. We want some realistic alien dong.
Yes. So for the mother-sister standard, I actually said yes. I think that they would like this.
Let's get the whole family involved in this alien love
there
affair.
Wasn't a lot of like penis like descriptions in this, like the other one. I definitely wouldn't recommend like the alien ice one, the Ice Planet Barbarian. I wouldn't recommend that to them. But this one actually was really good. I really liked it.
A little bit more wholesome.
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
Okay.
Wholesome. So this one also was a dual point of view, and it was kind of like an enemies to lovers, alien, like close proximity. I just really liked it. So there's Jade. She is our main female character, and this seems to happen in a lot of alien books where they like target people that don't have families, that don't really have a lot going for them, where people aren't really going to miss them. And Jade is one of those. So we don't really know, it isn't talked about in the book, but we don't really know like her background or her family or like a lot about her, which I thought was weird, but I guess it really wasn't exciting, so it wasn't put in there.
Yeah, it sounds like a very typical alien experience. They kidnap the crazy people.
Right. So she, I believe, worked at a bar. I think she was going to college, or maybe that was the second book. But yeah, she didn't really have a lot. She actually was going to be she was studying to be a veterinarian, I think. Was that her? Or maybe it was the other girl. I'm getting them confused. Anyway, she is captured by green men. Like the very stereotypical. They put her in this pod. They send her down to the world or to this world, and it lands in the forest. She's able to escape like the
she's
people.
Taken from Earth.
Yeah, put on a ship. And kind of
the ship takes her to another planet.
Yes, and like drops her off into this pod. It like opens up. She's able to escape the people that were supposed to like retrieve her.
And why did they kidnap her?
Because they get paid. They're like basically mercenaries. Like they take the people and they make the deals with the people on the different planets and they drop them off.
Okay.
So we find out why she was dropped off. So she was able to escape from those people, and she traveled for about 2 days until she saw this like pod that was like moving like a vehicle, and was able to like flag them down, and they took her to the capital to like meet with the queen. And they're very like human-like, but she did say that there was some like characteristics that were alien-ish. Like they had kind of like bigger eyes than normal, and like some people had like blue skin or blue hair. Like there was just a lot of variety, a lot of like races within this race.
This is a very inclusive book.
It is.
You got green people, blue people.
I know it was. I really liked it. So she meets with the queen, and they're able to figure out what language that she's speaking, what world she came from, and so they're able to program their translators. Which, wouldn't that be so nice if we had that?
We kind of do. I'm pretty sure.
Do we? Like Google Translate?
Well, there's Google Translate, but no, there's companies out there that have like little translators that you can speak the language. Like,
yeah.
It's like, hey, where's the subway? You talk into it, then you can play it back in like Japanese or Chinese or something like that, and they can hear it.
But that would be crazy if we could just like put it in our ear forever and then just like program it like on an app and say like, hey, I want like to be able to understand their like Japanese. And then it goes in your mind. Like that would be so cool. So that's what they do there. This is a very technologically advanced. I don't know words.
You want to try that one more time?
No.
This is a very technologically advanced society?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. This is why you're here.
I got you,
The only reason.
The only reason I'm
because
here.
I can't say words. Okay, so the queen starts to talk to Jade about maybe what had happened, because the queen isn't aware of like people taking humans from other planets. And so she says like this was illegal, like why that you're here, because I guess Earth is considered a class 4 planet. Yeah.
Okay.
Not floor.
A class floor planet. They don't have a numbering system.
4.
They just have like areas of the room. It's like this is a floor planet. This is a wall planet. That is a nightstand planet over there.
And then so taking her again is against their law, basically. And not just against the law of their world, but against the law of most worlds in that section of the universe of where they are. So it's like intergalactic law.
So did they dive into it and explain a little bit like what a class 1, 2, and 3 planet is?
No, they didn't. And maybe they will in like the other books. But they did mention like intergalactic law and rulings and councils.
So does
and
that mean
like
on like
that.
a class 1 or 2 planet, like it's free reign? Like, yeah, sure, you can go grab people from those planets all the time.
Well, not really like grab them, but there are different laws regarding them. Like, I think maybe we're a class 4 planet because I keep saying class 4 planet because we have like so many people here on the Earth and we're very similar to their Earth. And so maybe they said that we're like against the law or like illegal because we are so similar. But with this planet that they are currently on, they had a plague. And so it like wiped out a lot of the females. So basically, and this happened 300 years ago.
Okay.
So basically it's like a 20-to-1 ratio. So like 20 males to 1 female.
Ooh, that is.
So if everyone found out that the humans, like they took humans there and that they're like closely related to them, then people would go to Earth and steal more people. So they're like trying to keep it under wraps of like them being here. And there's other women that like come to the planet. And that's, I think, why the intergalactic law says, like, don't go to, like, Earth. And there's just, like, a lot of laws, which I think is good, that they're not, like, kind of just rogue.
Well, I think of male centric. I mean, I can kind of see where the romance is going to show up in this book with there being so many dudes. But.
Maybe. Just hold on, because I think it's a very interesting thing that they did. So they said the intergalactic law says that she's to remain on Clecanian for a period of 1 year, and their laws say that an off-worlder needs to be put under protection and monitored by a resident for that year. So I guess they have that law. And they say whichever species rescues or otherwise encounters a being from a class 4 planet is responsible for the welfare of that being for a period of 1 year. So they're also required to report the species that expose themselves to the planet in question, which they'll do as soon as they figure out who took them.
I don't mean to poke a giant hole in the middle of this, but why does she have to stay on the planet? Why don't they just return her? It's like, oh, you're not supposed to be here. Let's FedEx her back.
I don't know. And that's what, like, in the second book, there's a couple, like, girls in there that they're wanting to return too, that they're like, why can't we return? But I guess it's against their law, and people would, like, find out and, like, be really upset. I don't know. They don't really go into it.
Because what you described sounds like a very dude kind of thing. When dudes don't want the date to end early, they say things like, oh, well, no, I mean, I'm responsible for you. So we brought you to this planet. So whoever brought you here, we're responsible for, like, a year. A year. And because it was our race, like, you stay with us for a year.
Yes.
It feels like a dude thing.
I mean, it's mostly like dudes there.
Arbitrary laws.
There is a queen. So, and I don't know, like, they didn't really go into it. No, like a queen, like a human queen.
Wait, human queen or an alien queen?
Actually, I think she was human, but, like, she came, like, a long
human,
time
so
ago.
She transformed?
No, I don't remember. No, she was alien. Okay, so
interesting.
Basically, because there aren't very many females because of the plague, so they go through this thing, like, they have marriage and they have matehood, which are two different things. So their marriages are very common and their matehood is not. So basically, there are mates. Like, if they recognize their mate in someone, like, they're mated for life. But that, I guess, hasn't happened in over 150 years. So these marriages, though...
so mate is kind of like soulmate kind of thing, and marriage is kind of like, hey, we should be together for
Well, that's the thing. Marriages only last 3 months on this until they, like, find someone. So... They're saying when a Clecanian meets a potential mate, someone they could possibly turn out to be, like, their true mate, they feel it, they'll change, their bodies are awakened in ways it doesn't for others. But every 3 months, they have a ceremony where all the eligible men go into a room and are looked at by females. So basically, they're on show. Basically, it's like The Bachelorette.
Yeah, The Bachelorette.
So all of these males that are eligible, they go into this room, and there's, like, one-way mirrors so the women can see them, and the women pick 3 names or 3 people that they want to get to know. And so then they, like, kind of hang out with those people, kind of see if they have any similarities, and then they pick someone for their next marriage. And they make Jade do that because that's what they want. Like, she has to be there for a year. She has to pick someone that's going to be, like, someone who can protect her and everything like that. So she goes into this room. There's all these men, and she sees 2 of them that she likes. One of them really, really catches her attention because he has these, like, tattoos, but I guess they're scars. And so the guy that was kind of, like, helping her...
So she likes the bad boys.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So the females, they get to decide for 3 months, and they decided that was a long enough amount of time to assess whether the male they've chosen is worthy of raising a child.
This is a very intricate courtship.
It very much is, because their whole world is centered around females. Like, to be able
because there are no females.
Exactly. So to be able to have a baby, like, that's the biggest accomplishment, is to have a baby, because the race is dying out. And so that's why...
their priorities have shifted.
Exactly. Yeah. That's why Jade was captured and taken, because these people, like, they're evil in these books, but they have good intentions. They want their race to be, like, created and, like, to still prosper and everything. Yeah. And so they're doing all these testings from people from different, like, planets to see if they can, like, breed with them. And so it is really messed up, but essentially they just want their world to keep prospering. They just go about it the wrong way.
Yeah.
So they do have these marriages, and the females are basically in charge of everything. And the males, they go to this husbandry school. And they get scores on the different skills that they learn. So how they cook, how they take care of the house, what job that they have, how much money they have, like just a ton of things. Like the
irony of this is not lost on me.
I know.
By
And
the
so
way.
this
like
is
in the 50s, like women like going to finishing school, like it's funny.
Yeah.
This reverse around.
So that's how they figure out who deserves to have a wife and child, is from these scores.
Instead of SATs, you got HUSBAND.
Husbands. So we learn about Theo. So Theo is the one that catches her eye. And I guess apparently most females find his scars appealing.
This book's called Choosing Theo, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so now we have Theo. Most of the females find his scars unappealing, and so he's never been chosen, and people don't expect him to ever be chosen. But
where did he get the scars from?
There was like a fire when he was young, and so they're like black scars, but they look like tattoos. And she likes tattoos.
She likes tattoos.
Exactly. So she's like, ooh, he does look like the bad boy, like you said earlier. And so she chooses him, and he is like a mercenary. It's like a spy. Like he works with their government and helps like take out people. Like he's an assassin, basically. Okay. So he thinks that she is an assassin. Like at first, like he's like, why would anyone like choose me? Like this is a setup. But of course, slowly they fall in love. Not really slow. It's like once he decides that she's not a spy, it's like a really quick coupling, and like there is pretty spicy, but yeah, it's not like graphic details. And so they really like.
She played with his black scars from the fire.
Well, she licks them.
Oh. Okay.
Because she doesn't think that he can understand her yet. And so she's like, oh, I'll lick those. And then he's like, okay, do it. And he's like talking English. And she's like, oh,
oh, you can understand me? That was, that wasn't for you to hear.
Exactly. And so they like start to learn about each other and trust each other. And we also learn that she is actually his mate. And so, like, she's his mate, but of course she's human, so she doesn't have a mate. And so he's, like, nervous that she's not going to choose to stay with him after the 3 months. But of course they do, because she also gets pregnant. Oh. And so now they're like, okay, this has to be so hush-hush, because if people find out that she can carry their babies, like, all of these aliens are going to go to Earth and steal these people. So they have to keep it really under wraps. And so at the end of the book, she's like taken. She's like captured to go to those underground facilities. And they're able to like find her and get everything. And then that little section of like facility that are bad, like it kind of gets like taken down. But then it opens up with Theo's brother, Luca. He's in that facility. So he went undercover into the really bad facility, and then they figure out that he is undercover, and that's where his story starts. He meets Alice, which Alice is another human, and so that's where the second book comes through, that we learn more about this facility and why they're doing it. Book. No, that was the second.
That's the second book you described.
Right, but this is the first book. Yeah. So they find Jade. She's pregnant. Everything is good. They fall in love, and then it starts, with the second book.
Okay.
So I really liked it. I read the first two because I was interested to like really figure out more about it. The reason why I didn't go to book 3 is because I didn't like the girl that was in it. Like you kind of learn about this girl in the second book, and I just didn't like her. And so I didn't want to read the third book, but I might skip to like the different books. I don't know. But I just like the world building. It was very easy to understand. The characters were very easy to understand. They were likable. Like Jade wasn't so like in your face. Like in a couple parts she is, but she's a pretty strong, like independent character. And I really like that. Like she held her own. Like I just really liked them.
That's good.
Especially coming from, I read it right after the long game. And so just like the difference between them, I liked the storyline. I liked the timeline that everything happened. It was like enough information that you wanted to go to the second book, and you were still curious about the aliens. You're still curious about the characters, and it was enough tension, but enough spice too. That it's like
just enough spice, just enough tension, just enough.
Exactly. And it kept me reading. I read it really fast. I read the second one really fast. And yeah, I would read more from this author because it all made sense. Like, it was very satisfying. It was very like
Victoria Aveline.
Yeah.
Aveline.
And I think she's wrote a lot of books. So maybe she probably has a lot of experience. And like, it wasn't so over the top like the Ice Barbarians that it was believable, that you're like, okay, this could happen. Like,
it's plausible.
It's plausible
in the world of
exactly
this make believe that she's built.
Exactly, like we're a class 4 planet. Like, they are aware of us. Like, just a lot of things that I'm like, okay, that makes sense.
Okay. I mean, I like sci-fi books, so I understand what you're saying. I get it.
Yeah. And so overall, like, I really liked it. I really liked the second book. I liked that they went with like Theo's brother, because I think he has like 7 brothers or something. He actually has a sister too. And so, yeah, we talk about like Luca and Alice. They find each other in the facility and they escape. And we also like the people are trying to make Luca like be Alice's mate, and they are. And so they're trying to like research that, but they just go about it the wrong way. And so basically when they escape, Alice is like, oh, Luca just thinks that I like forced this mating upon him, but really he's like so happy and so appreciative, like he has a mate. And so he like starts to court her, and it's just like very cute, like they're mates, but it's just like a slow kind of like romance. Yeah. And then you find out more about like the bad people and going from there. So it just, yeah, I really liked it.
Good. Yeah. I liked that you liked it.
Yeah, you liked that it didn't scar you, and it didn't make you.
Yeah,
blush.
I wasn't gagging. I wasn't uncomfortable. Well, licking the scars. That's
that is a very just.
I understand licking tattoos and stuff. It's just the idea of like licking a scar. To him, it's a scar. To her, she's like, it's a tattoo.
She's basically accepting him, though, saying that they don't bother her.
I got you.
So, but yeah, I really like it.
No, people say weird things when they're in the throes of passion.
I guess so. Do you have any questions about this book? Like,
I don't have any questions.
That's fine. Yeah, so I recommend this Alien series. There's a lot of books, and so I'm guessing that you can probably skip around. I don't know if they'd be really like one-off. Like, I definitely recommend choosing Theo first, just to kind of like an introduction, and maybe read the second one as well, because it does give you more information. But I'm guessing the other books you could probably skip through them, just to kind of get like more details.
You can jump around and like find the ones that interest you just from like the summaries.
Exactly. And I mean, I think I might like really skim through the third one just to see if there is more information on like the bad guys and
they
why
really build off of each
exactly
other.
why they capture them, like what really is their purpose. Like,
well, it's really just a conspiracy.
Exactly.
Maybe this is what's happening today with the CIA
and
everything like that.
This is the series.
Like, this isn't fiction. This is like real documentation. This is real.
Oh my gosh.
Victoria Aveline is like, no, this is happening.
Maybe she went over there. Maybe she's sending these manuscripts.
Maybe Victoria is Jade.
Oh. That would be crazy if this really happened. Okay, well, thank you everyone for listening. And wherever you are listening, if you could rate and review, that would be super helpful. Definitely follow us on all the social medias. We have our YouTube where you can watch this. And then we have like Instagram, TikTok, Threads. I think I created a Facebook page, but I haven't been on Facebook in a long time. So
yeah, you can also check us out on MySpace, the Detroit of the internet.
I never had a MySpace.
And I did. I had a MySpace.
I didn't even know what it was. I was like one of the first on like Facebook, but I didn't know anything about MySpace. Like other people in my grade had one, but I think I was just so sheltered. I don't know. I just didn't know anything about it.
It was a weird thing. Anyways, you should read the book though.
You should read the book. I highly recommend this. That's why I think like my mom and sister would really like this. Am I going to tell them like stop everything and read this now? No, but I think it should be on their list. So yeah, definitely look into this if you like alien books. I think that you would be pleasantly surprised. So anyways, follow us on all the social medias and have a great week.
Bye. I'm talking about World War II and the Nazis. I'm sorry.
That's not. We don't want to talk
about that.